Hello. I am going to show you, take you on a tour of our chicken coop, how we get it ready for winter. So we are in Chicago, or we live outside of Chicago, so it gets pretty cold. Not as cold as some of you guys, but today is, I just checked, it's 5 degrees right now with a wind chill of -13. So it's pretty chilly. It gets colder, but I'm going to show you what we do to keep our chickens nice and warm. So here's the outside of our coop. You can see that I just used plastic. I think it's 6mm plastic to wrap around all the open hardware cloth. And I just staple it right to the frame. You can see it was pretty windy yesterday. That piece blew off. I should probably restaple that. And then it goes here on that part as well. That's the egg access door that that hooks up to their nesting boxes. I'll show you the inside in a second. This is like their outside pen area. This is definitely not predator proof, but they just sometimes go out in the day. Obviously, probably not today. You can see that bird netting that's kind of like hanging down. Usually it drapes across and connects to the garage there. We do have hawks. We have lost one chicken to a hawk. We were free ranging them and we were in the house and it got her. So that bird netting has kept off any hawks during the day. But we have to take the bird netting down when it snows because the snow packs on it and it caves in. So here's the inside of the coop. You can see there's a thermometer that it says it's 3 degrees. And then the humidity gauge on the bottom is perfect at 65%. That's really the dangerous thing with chickens. If the humidity is too high and it's cold, that's what gives them frostbite. So I put this in here to make sure that it's always at a good range. To keep the humidity down, you can see we have openings in the roof from the corrugation, but then also up here it's open as well. And we keep it like that during the winter because it helps to keep the humidity down. So here's our little window for them. They love to sit on this perch right here in the winter because the sun comes right through that window. You can see I just kind of put in some little insulation there to keep out the draft. And then there's some like bubble insulation to just kind of help keep the temperature stable. I keep it up in the summer too, and I don't know if it actually does anything to help, but it doesn't seem to do anything to hurt, so we're keeping it. You can see there is a heat lamp here. We do not use this heat lamp. You can see I secured it with zip ties. It's not falling down for sure. We don't use it though because she's really mad because she's laying an egg and I have the door open. We don't use that heat lamp. The reason it's here is last year it dropped to, I believe, -40 with the wind chill, and it was air temp of like -20 something. And so I put that heat lamp on just for 2 nights because I just wanted to be sure that they were fine. We have not used it since, and I don't plan to. They're totally fine without it. They maybe would have been fine without it last winter, but it was cold and I just wanted to be safe. So let's head inside this area now. So once you're in this spot, the wind is really, it's non-existent, which makes it feel much warmer in here. You can see we have our automatic door that is hooked up to a timer up here, an outdoor timer that opens and closes it in the morning and at night. So then they get in here and they're safe because everything is secured off at that point. You can see the cord for the heater. It's not even plugged in. I just wanted to show you up here too. I ventilate the plastic as well because the humidity can get high in this area too if you're not careful about ventilation. One way I always check is up on the ceiling because it's metal. If I see water droplets beading up or frozen, I know that it's way too humid. But the way that I have it ventilated right now, and you can see down here, yeah, it's ventilated a little bit up there as well at the top of that area to just let the air kind of pass through. So for our water, we got to keep that from freezing, obviously. I just use a cinder block. So it's plugged into the extension cord that runs up there, and then I just have a cinder block here with a socket plugged into the extension cord, and then I believe that's a 150 watt light bulb. And then this aluminum pan I just kind of molded to fit, and then the water sits right on top. This has kept our water from freezing almost all winter. Last year when it was really, really cold, the -20s, this part did have freeze over, so I replaced it I think maybe once a day in the morning, because it just couldn't keep it from freezing in those temperatures. But otherwise it's worked really, really well. I usually only fill it to right about here, because if I fill it too high, I notice it freezes inside. But if I do here, that lasts for 2 days, so it stays not frozen, and they have water, and then I don't have to haul out here with warm water and keep changing it all the time, which is fabulous. The only other trick we use, which I know is something that most chicken owners do, is we give them cracked corn in like scratch grains over in the really cold days, usually in the afternoon. So then they have that to break down overnight, and it just gives their body warmth. So we actually don't close off this door unless it's going to be super cold, but otherwise just this door closes at night, and it's warm enough. They're totally fine as is. Give you one more sweep around. I've had plans to paint this white just like the outside of the coop, but I haven't yet. You can see too, and I'll probably be doing a post about this in the spring, but we built our coop out of reclaimed wood. So all of these 2x4s were taken out of a house and my dad had in his backyard for like a couple years, and I was like, these would be perfect to build the coop. So I ended up just buying the hardware cloth new, and then I believe the siding on the outside. This is the leftover piece here, but then the new siding on the outside. All of these are just old pieces of plywood that I had, so we did it pretty cheaply. And then of course there's our old an old ladder I just cut up to make into their roosting perches for when they're out here. I just use this little latch down here to keep that door secure. And that's our winter coop.
Thanks so much for watching. You can head to my blog, refreshliving.net, for a ton of other DIY and upcycle projects. And please subscribe to my channel. I'll have a lot more chicken coop projects and other outdoor yard work coming this spring.